So today is one of the first days I've actually felt pretty decent. I haven't felt all weird in my equilibrium or, uncoordinated like I was before. And I haven't had a flare-up since the one on, what's today, Sunday? So what was that? It's either Thursday or Friday? I think it was Friday. That really bad one in the morning that I had never experienced in the past. But in terms of at least, hey, I'm feeling a bit better today, and hopefully this keeps up, especially through to when I have to go back to work on Tuesday, because I know that has not been easy for anyone involved. And the number one thing I want through all of this is just to function normally, like everybody else, just so I can work, exist, be more than what I am, to actually feel like I'm getting somewhere further. I will say that, on whatever this thing is going on with my head, if this is going to be something a little more concrete and imaging might actually show something, then that would be awesome in the sense of having a case for disability. However, I don't really want disability. I just want to be better. I just can't seem to function at where I'm at, or it's just put a very hard strain on quality of life in general, going forward, just to exist. But in terms of what we're thinking, so I saw my kinesiologist on Friday. Today is, Sunday. And I had been having a lot of thoughts with this, thinking that maybe this might have something to do with my arteries and my nerves. I said that because when I have my attacks, or when it holds on longer than just, even past the attacks, when it just holds on, it was making me think in a lot of ways it could be trigeminal or occipital neuralgia, and that's basically where the arteries become inflamed and they put a ton of pressure on the actual nerves themselves. And those nerves, the trigeminal and the occipital, the ones that I can actually feel directly, that are going into my eye and my teeth and everything else, would make complete sense for all the symptoms that come with it, in terms of the trigeminal and occipital, especially when I was reading and looking it up and looking at how it affects everything. And they describe it as one of the worst pains known to existence. Okay, well, yeah, that actually falls in line a lot with what I've been feeling. And I take a lot of pain. I'm in pain on a daily basis. I constantly am trying to keep from having further triggers or things like that, and just trying to take it easy to not make it worse. But it's hard. But yeah, nothing, not even the hips, which were unflipping goddamn bearable, don't even compare to this pain. But the thing that keeps getting me is that I've been having this clicking right in my C1, C2. And it's usually when I turn left. It doesn't really happen when I go right. Just left. Which would make a lot of sense for while this shit's happening on my left side. And now you guys can't hear that. I can, loud and clear, absolutely. But yeah, for the trigeminal and occipital, it didn't really make sense as to why I was having the clicking in my head, not to mention the sternocleidomastoid muscle has been not nearly as affected recently as it was earlier on at the start of this about a month ago. So there are all these other factors and all these other pains and all these other places that could be causing this, this trouble. So that brings what I was talking about with my kinesiologist. But basically, the curve that you were supposed to have let's say this is you. So right here is your neck. Right here is your lower back. The space between, you know, the curve at your neck here, obviously would go in. I can't do it with my fingers. And right here, right at your lower back, it would go in. Well, that curvature, that depth, they should be the same. However, with mine, they are not. And even when I sit up perfectly straight, my shoulders are where they're supposed to be, but my neck is not. My neck is much further out. It kind of like, and I've always felt like a bobblehead in a sense. I've always been aware of that. I've also always been aware of the fact of when I was born, supposedly they thought I had that disease, I can't remember the name of it right now, but they thought I had that disease where basically your head swells because it's filled with water. Here's the thing though, and this opens up a whole new rabbit trail of things. I'm going to try not to go too far down it, but I was not told much growing up in any way about my health whatsoever, my history, nothing. I was raised with my grandparents, and they were very much ashamed of my biological mother, who, as they should have been. I mean, she was Satan spawn, easily. Just the worst, the absolute worst. The whole reason as to why I'm sick is because of this woman. However, though, my grandparents, who I call my parents because they're the ones who raised me, and don't get me wrong, they went through a lot. They had to deal with so much bull that in all reality, they couldn't be the parents they needed to be. Does that make it okay for how I was raised? No. Does it at least give me some sort of understanding and, in a way, empathy? Of course. Like, I get what trauma is. I get what fucking terrible people are. And I can't imagine having your own child leech off you and treat you like a complete piece of shit. I mean, I can't fathom that. But basically, because of what my mother did, my biological, I guess let's give you a recap. I guess I have to go on this regardless. So, when I was a little fetus in the womb, awaiting growing and life and all that fun stuff, basically, she was taking heroin. And what do you think that did to little baby me? Well, I don't think children are supposed to have heroin. Shit, fetuses aren't supposed to have heroin. And of course that hurt my nervous system. Of course that hurt a lot of things. And then the thing is, but I didn't find out any of this until I was 19. I didn't find out that I was a methadone baby till I was 19 because my parents were so ashamed. And I get that, but at the same time, this is kind of important information. So you take in the fact that, you know, I've been given heroin since I was a fetus. I was given methadone as a newborn baby. Apparently I found out, the thing about my head being too big. I also apparently found out after Mom and Dad died that I had a hole in my heart. Now I imagine that everything was fine with it because I've never had it checked since. I mean, granted, that's not to say that it's, you know, all okay and well, but I haven't really had much heart trouble as far as I know or has been tested or that I've felt or anything like that. But that gives you a background a little bit, and then but basically, going back to the fact of, like, I wasn't told anything until way later in life, which was super frustrating, but also hurtful towards my medical history. So, yeah, basically, this whole thing about this issue with my head being too big, what was involved with that? Why did no one tell me? Why was I was so much kept from me. And I get it, shame, but like, shit, this actually might be something. So with this whole issue of my head being too forward, what it does, if this is what it is, however, it would match every symptom I've had. It would make sense for so many other things. Basically, it's called Chiari deformation or syndrome or something like that. But basically what it is that your spinal cord columns, instead of going straight out, they're going diagonal. And it's actually pushing your actual whole skull forward. But in that, it's creating this pocket where spinal fluid is leaking. And essentially what happens is your entire head swells. Meaning your brain is fucking swelling. Now, ever since I've had these episodes for 8 years, granted this last month has been the doozy of all doozies with it, it would match like the trigeminal, the occipital, the everything, and something to do with the clicking. I mean, it would make so much sense. If my brain is swelling, then all that pressure is not only being put on my nervous system, well, and brain, let's just go there, but the nervous system that's causing all these misfires to happen, to go into my head, to make me want to shoot myself in the face. I mean, with the occipital coming out through the back anyway, could explain a lot for how my eye has felt like it's been wanting to die. And that pain, I mean, is something getting caught? Is something getting completely squished? What is it? So I see my neurologist on Thursday, and since I've had someone who truly understands the body bring this up and really, really think this could be it, gives me a lot of faith in the fact that maybe we can actually find a good way out of this, like meaning there might actually be a fix. And if there's a fix, if it is this, the fix is either go in and take out some of the columns or go in and pull out part of my skull. Because, you know, that's just more and more badass as things go on. Like, it sounds crazy and it sounds kind of scary, but apparently it's pretty, the turnout on those surgeries are very good, and they tend to do very well in recovery and things like that, which is a big help to me because obviously me and Pain we know each other very well, and frankly, if we can have less interactions, I'd be happier. But yeah, this whole thing called Chiari Syndrome is a very interesting possibility of what it all could be. And it even did mention that in adolescence, in babies, basically when you're born, sometimes they'll make the mistake and the misdiagnosis that you've got the I want to call it hydrocephalitis, but I don't think that's what it is at all. But whatever, your brain swells because there's too much water in it. But it can be mistaken for that. Which brings me back to, why did no one tell me anything? Why was I kept out of the loop when it came to my health and my entire medical history? I get shame sucks. I get that you feel like this person was, you know, the absolute worst. And she is. And was. And treated you terribly. And me terribly. And, you know, I'm paying for her bullshit for the next however long years. It's crap. It's complete crap. No one should live through this. No one should have to deal with this bullshit. And frankly, that's just what it is. It's fucking straight up bullshit. I just... It's really frustrating because this week right now is the week that I believe she's getting out of prison after being in for 25 years. She's getting out. The woman who took everything from me. With every door closing, and I've fought tooth and nail from start to finish, because the one thing I won't allow is for this shit to keep me down. However, after a certain point, this gets fucking tiring. Immensely tiring. And at a certain point, you're just going to get too fucking tired. That's all there is to it. You're just going to get way too fucking tired. And you're not going to be able to do it anymore. Like, I've already gone through 10 years of this shit. And granted, it could be worse. Don't get me the fuck wrong. But now it has hit a level of, this is really fucking bad. And if I don't get it fixed, I will not be able to function, exist, whatever. Just, no, I can't like this. It's just, there's no quality of life in this. Like, I'm getting ready right now because I'm thinking about actually leaving the house. I haven't taken a Percocet today. Which, by the way, I fucking hate that I have to be on opiates more than anything in the world. For someone who got sick because of actual drugs, I'm not exactly a fan of drugs. Wish I could give that news flash to half of my doctors that I've seen over the years, but that's another fucking battle that just sadly I'll be fighting for the rest of my life. At least I've got a good team right now, and I've got actually some credibility, which is a big fucking deal, so there is that. But it needs to be more than that. It needs to be worth it. It needs to be a life worth it. But you know what? At least we're on to something coming up. This could have answers. This could absolutely have answers, but at least, you know, we've got an idea. Like before, when I had this shit happen 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, we didn't know what we were looking for. We didn't even know where to look. And besides, at that time, especially with being 21 years old at the time, no one believed me. Nobody. It was miserable. Like, at least this time I actually have some credibility and people who actually understand. And frankly, these diseases and autoimmune disorders have finally gotten the attention that they deserve. Albeit still not enough, but at least something. And that's a big thing. I just... motherfucker. It'd be a bigger thing if I could do this without getting it all the fuck over me. Because here I am, talking, not paying a goddamn ounce of attention to what I'm doing. Ugh. Because I'm vain. And the fact that I've done any of these fucking vlogs, that's what we want to call them, with no makeup on whatsoever, with a very, like, what I like to call my, I look like a dead little Norwegian boy when I don't have my makeup on or my hair done or shit like that. So, welcome to my complete uncomfort zone. Because I have not been comfortable, but what the fuck ever. If this is going to mean anything, it's got to be real. It's got to be raw. It's got to be seen in the fullest. In all of its bullshit. In all of its highs. In all of its lows. You know, the craziest thing, Gaga, which, you know, she is my warrior queen. Love her to death. So fucking much love her. And she has canceled the remainder of her Joanne World Tour. Of course, that hits me. She and I have had very similar things happen to us in the sense of our bodies. She has fibromyalgia, like me. She had an unbelievable fucked hip injury, which I have had. I think hers was tearing her labrum, possibly, which is actually what they thought happened to me forever until we found out that my hips were actually completely out of their sockets, out of the SI joint. And I'm going to have to finish these damn fucking eyebrows downstairs with better light. I'm really not paying very good attention, am I? God damn it. But, yeah, she had a terrible hip injury. It was actually a week and a half before the Born This Way ball that I was going to be going to, which was right after Mom and Dad had died and a brother of mine. And just had a very good time, so I was really, 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 really hoping on that one. And just, I really needed that in my life at the time. But sadly, yeah, she busted her fucking hip, and she couldn't do anything anymore, and she put on weight, and so did I. Actually, same thing when I had my lovely hip problem. I mean, it hasn't peeked its head out lately. It's still there, but it's not like what it was. But yeah, she's had horrendous hip pain, and I know exactly what that's like. It's horrible. I mean, you want to do anything, you need to walk. You need to get there. You need to be. You can't do that with hips. You can't do that when everything is against you. But yeah, she just canceled her tour, and I am very, very lucky to have been able to go to that tour on the in-between, because she had canceled the beginning too because of the fucking pain. I mean, folks only really knew. But yeah, I'm extremely grateful I got to see her when I did. I really hope that she can get to a better place. I mean, she's got all the doctors and all the things at her disposal. Like, she's probably got the best chance of any of us with these things. I remember that in her documentary, when you're watching her go through one of her flares, which is, I tell you, word for fucking word. The way she describes it is the same way I describe it. Although she uses, what was it? Spasm, where I use flare. She used rope while I use rubber band. But yeah, essentially the same goddamn thing. So yeah, that kind of pain, that kind of hip pain, and then it affects your whole one side of your body, which has been a constant in my life for a long time. It's unbearable. And people, the saddest thing is that people see what you can do, or the front that you put up. And frankly, well, Gaga is a goddamn warrior. She is amazing. She is strong. She is ferocious. She's all these things. And don't think for a second that she doesn't have a front up 24/7, just trying not to show the pain. Like, it is a wall. It is a guard. You can't be yourself. You can't be. It's constantly an act, and it constantly takes energy. It takes so much energy to get it out. But, yeah, it kicked her ass. Like, she's had that wall up, because look at how she performed. She's so physical. And she's very independent. I mean, that's how a lot of us who have these diseases are, because of, it happens to a lot of type A personalities. And a lot of people have had trauma in their lives, which it's crazy to think how that stores in the body and how it can up and fuck you later. Like, so all you can try to do is find the silver linings in the everyday, and be more for others when you can. Because, you know, this is not an easy ride. But yeah, so she had to quit her tour. This was the week I could barely go to work, so I can feel you there, girl. I'm really hoping that with all this rest that I've been getting, hopefully I can, well, as of today and yesterday, I've just kind of been sleeping 24/7, but hopefully it'll be okay for work. The hardest part is that lights fucking suck. Lights suck, screens suck. I'm surprised this light isn't killing me right now, but again, like, for whatever reason, I'm not getting flared up at this moment, or really even bothered really at this moment, so it's weird how it all decides to attack you when it wants to, but, so we'll see. But, so yeah, Thursday's the appointment. And I've got support from my kinesiologist, who wrote me a long letter about what's been going on with me, and hopefully that brings some credibility to the table. And I'm seeing my normal PCP tomorrow, who has been giving me the opiates, which I hate being on, but at least it's giving me some relief when I am feeling terribly. But maybe she can give me a note as well for this doctor that I have to see on Thursday, just because I need people to know I've been I'm against drugs. I'm against all of that shit, you know? Like, just need to know people. I need other people to know that I'm not faking this, that I'm not making this up, that I'm not just doing this for attention, for sympathy, or all that. Because sadly, there are those individuals who do that, who fuck it up for the people who actually do need help. Which is why, well, not completely why opiates have gone crazy, but there is a little bit of that involved. But it really sucks when all you want is help. When all you want is understanding, for someone to give a shit, and you're met with somebody just constantly looking at you like, is this bitch lying? Yeah, she probably is. Look at her. Got all those tattoos. You think she's got a pain problem? No way. Or look how she handles the world. Look how she can do this. Look how she's so strong. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, strong ain't shit when you can't live. When strong is just surviving, that is not a way of life, frankly. And strong ends up being not at all what it's cracked up to be in any way, shape, or form. So it sucks. Here's hoping no more unbelievable pain. Here is hoping I can go to work. Here is hoping we have some answers going forward. And here's hoping that I actually do go out for once in ages and actually have a good time. That would be nice. That would be excellent. That would be wonderful. However, I gotta do my eyes because I can't do it in this mirror ever. So there's that.